Hello Flosstube, it's Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome everyone to my channel this weekend. I'm very glad that you're here with me. This weekend I have pulled out all of last year's WIPs, completed pieces, and fully finished pieces. I've got them separated to try to make this as easy as possible for you, the viewer, but also me grabbing it so everything's within hand reach. I ended up stitching from January through the first week of August last year. So from that second week of August to the end of the year, I did not stitch. But I sat down and counted everything up because I keep track of it. And then, like I said, I've got them in piles. So I want to start with just kind of showing you what I do. I have a little 3-ring binder that I keep all of lists of what I've finished. And it's just basic, just ruled paper. And so I put the name of the project, who it's by, the date I started it, the date I finished it. And over here I list whether it's a new start or a finish. And then as I complete things, I'll highlight them so that I know that I have completed them. And at the end of the year, I flip back. And these, of course, is from last year, not from 22. But last year, in 2021, not last year, but 2021, 2020, I'm sorry, I've got it all mixed up, don't I? In 2020, I ended up finishing, let me get back with it. I worked on 22 projects, which was new starts. I worked on 11 WIPs, and I ended up finishing 22 new starts, and I finished 8 WIPs. And 2 of those 2 additional finishes were finished the first weekend, the first month of this past year, which was January. But for 2021, now I totaled everything up today. So I had 14 new starts, 11 WIPs that I worked on during the year. And out of those new starts, I finished 12, and I finished 6 WIPs, which for a grand total, I had a total of 4 WIPs that was completed when you take off those 2 new ones that I brought into this year. So altogether, I completed 6 WIPs and carried over 2 and finished 12 items, which I'm very proud of that. But I do that as I go. So that list that I showed you is just a list of what I'm working on throughout the year. I keep track of that, but I also keep track of it daily in my book of days. So I'm just gonna pull that out so I can kind of show you what I did last year. So I have this book of days from Needlework Press, and this was last year's. And I take pictures of what I work on during the month. Some months are more than others. Some, like I've gifted, that are on my list of completions for this year, which is one is this Afghan here that I completed for my daughter Jordan. And then I had another Afghan that I completed for my daughter Chelsea, and it is in here as well. Here's hers. But I also put, just basically what I'm finishing, because it may not be cross stitch. Right here is a Christmas ornament that I did last year with my orts from 2020. And this one is a finish from the previous year, but I completed it and put it into, made it into a little bag. But this is just how I kind of keep track of what I'm working on, what I've finished. I notate what I've worked on during the month over here. I highlight it when I've finished it. And each day I just kind of jot what I'm working on. And if I go away on the weekend, or I do have a stitch meetup, or I do a stitch along, all of that is notated in the days. And this is how I just kind of keep track of it. It's just kind of basic, nothing very, very involved. Because a lot of times I'll stitch on the same thing for a couple of weeks. Like this week I've worked only on Womack. And so every day I just put the initials AW for Womack on the days, and I may not jot in it for a week, but I know that I've worked on it every day. So let's get started on this year. This past year, which was 2021, I'm getting my years mixed up. And I just want to go with you from the beginning of the year till the end of what I've started, what I've finished. So I started last year with finishing up Uber Turkey, and this was a Bent Creek design, and I started it in October of 2020. So this is one of the ones I carried over from 2020 into 21. And I really enjoyed him. I used pearl cottons on this one. I used the call for fabric, the call for pearl cottons, and this is gonna be great. I had intentions of making this into a wall hanging before Thanksgiving of this past year, and that didn't come to happen, but I'm very happy with it. I will definitely do these again. She has an Uber series, Bent Creek does, and so there's some for every month, or is it every season? May just be the holidays, but I do plan on doing more of those because I really enjoyed this one. So this is Uber Turkey. And so I finished that one January 4th. So the next thing that I had was a finish for my daughter Jordan, and that was the Afghan I showed you in my book of days. And I finished that on the 9th of January. And I had a lot of fun with that too. I have one more to complete. I talked about that in my last video. My son Jacob has one due to him this year. So eventually I'll get around to one of my own. I don't have one of my own. I've completed 3 now, started my 4th one, and every one of them I've gifted. But that gives you such a good feeling to gift your handwork to someone that you love, especially an Afghan, and they're going to wrap themselves in it. But I finished Jordan's on the 9th of January. And then on let's see, we're going to go forward to February 7th. I finished this one, which I showed in my last video. But this is Southern Land by Al Forrest Embroidery. And I started this one in July 20th of 2020, and completed it in February 7th of last year. So this is one of the others that I carried forward from 2020. And for those of you that are new and may not have followed me on this journey, I have been trying, and I didn't realize, I thought it was just last year, but for 20 and 21, and I'm going to carry it into 22, I'm trying to get my number of WIPs down. I do not have a count on them. I just know that they're excessive, and I'm working to complete them. Now, I'm not trying to completely stay away from new starts. I will still make new starts. My goal is not to carry more WIPs out. Let me say this. Let me explain this better. I'm going to have new starts, but I want to complete more WIPs than I carry out of new starts that I've started for that year. Meaning, if I've got a WIP from 22, it's okay to carry one over of something I started in 22, but I want more prior WIPs from the prior years completed than new starts carried over, if that makes sense. So basically less WIPs than I went in with. And I did that this year, so I'm very happy with that. I think I made that very confusing, but I apologize. So this is one I did not complete. This is one that I started, I want to say in maybe 17 or 18. It's a mystery sampler by Lydia, which is one of my favorite designers, if not my top favorite designer. And this is Mary Cotton, age 9. And so it was a 3-part mystery series. And I do not know why I'm struggling with this. Usually when I start a Lydia, I stick with it till it's done, but for some reason I am struggling with this one. And so last year I did get some work on it. It is a mystery sampler, so I can't show you the completed piece. And this is it. And you can see I'm starting to get creases because I keep it folded. I need to fold it differently when I put it in now, but it's on a 40 count linen. It's 1/2 threads. And I did get a good bit completed from last year from what it was before that. But I really I'm keeping this in my basket, and you can see the edge of my basket here. This is a basket of some of my WIPs that I want to complete soon. And every time I remove one and finish it, I put another one in there. And it stays by my little stitch share, and I pull from it, like I said, as I finish. But I really want to finish Mary Cotton this year. So she's one that I've carried over from previous years. And then after Mary Cotton, I finished another Afghan on the 27th of February for my daughter Chelsea, and that was a blue and gray Afghan, and she loves it, and it matches her little house just perfectly. So after finishing that one, I picked up a sampler story, which I started in Mania of 2018, May 18th Mania. is when I started, May 18th of 2018. And this is where I've gotten. So I'm doing really good on this one. At one point, I was trying to do one maybe every week to 2 weeks, try to do one square. And this is something that I'm pretty sure I can finish within this coming year. It is over 1. I think this is a 32 count linen, but it's 1 over 1. And let me show you the finished picture. So it has 6 times 4, so 24 squares, and I have 3, 6, 9, 12, so I'm just a little over halfway. So it's, like I said, it's definitely attainable to be completed this year. So there is Sampler Story. So I'm gonna put my WIPs over there. And then I picked up LOVE Squared. And this was something else I had started in like 2016, 17. And I was taking it to work as I call it a lunchtime small, something that I could easily carry to work that doesn't have a lot of color changes and that I could get a little bit of progress. And then I moved offices and I just quit taking it. So I picked this one up and I decided to give it a finish. So I fully finished this one. This was by Sweetheart Tree, and again, it is Love Squared. I started this, it actually shows March of 2017, and I finished it in February 27th of 21. So I kind of modeled this off of a finish I had found online. I got a lot of reaction to this last year. I really enjoyed the finish. I love how it turned out. I love the colors. But it was something new. I was trying to push myself out of my little comfort box with finishing last year and finishing things in different ways. And I did a 6-month recap last year back in June if you want to go back, and you can see more of my fully finished pieces. But because this is a piece that I actually finished and then fully finished, that's why I'm showcasing that here. So there's that. And after finishing that up, I picked up In My Father's House, and I was doing this as a stitch along with my friend Rhonda, who has flown past me, and she has finished hers, but this is by the Bay Needlearts, In My Father's House. And this is another one that I've wanted to finish for a long time, and I started this with Rhonda last year, or picked it up with Rhonda. I had already made a small start on it, but this is where I'm at. So I do have the house outlined. I was working on the window sashes and the roof. And this is something else that is easily attainable this year if I just stick to it and stitch. Okay. Then I picked up, started and finished Anne of Green Gables. This is by JBW Designs. And this is such a cute little piece. I'd read the story, so as I stitched it, after I completed this, I got a more modern edition of the book and reread it. And actually, hold on just a second, I want to share something with you. This is my friend Judy. She was also an Anne of Green Gables fan, and she sent me this gift. Ooh, it's Anne. How sweet is that? I want to put her out in my stitch room upstairs, and I have several little Anne of Green Gables trinkets. And I want to put it upstairs with her, but there's Anne with her little bag. Like she's waiting at the train station to be picked up. So I'm going to put her away safely. And she actually has 2 hats. I bet this is the one she was picked up from the train station on. It's a little more tattered. So thank you, Judy. I love it. Okay. After Anne of Green Gables, I picked up, you know what? Let me put my glasses on. I can't even see it. Under My Wing. It's a red bird Under My Wing by Blue Ribbon Designs. And this is it. So this one I fully finished last year. This was a new to me type of finish. I did 2 of these. The other one will come up. It was the Bluebird. Let me go ahead and show you this one too. Bluebird. So I did Bluebird and I did Redbird. And on both of them, I put the 2021 trinkets. Or charms. So they're both finished in the zinc ball canning jar lid, as well as they have the chenille trim. And those are sweet little finishes. So each one of those were finished last year. And then I did Christ in Gethsemane, which is one of my oldest WIPs. And I was going through my things at some point last year. I had some print-offs of the chart, but the print-offs that I had were not complete, meaning it was only a portion of the chart. And then I found the chart. So this is the finish, not the finish, the chart. And here's my WIP. So I did get a good bit done on him last year. I'd say I'm probably a little over halfway on this one. I love the fabric I chose. It's different than what was called for. I love the face, the colors, everything about it. So it is going to be gorgeous when it is finished. Now this is one I don't know if I'll finish this year or not. I did have plans to finish it last year, but that did not happen. We want to finish everything as we stitch it, don't we? But I'm a magpie. I get distracted so easily. I know at least one this year I did was a stitch along. Two of them. And market comes out, and so I'm just easily distracted. I need to work on that. So there's that. So another that I picked up was April of last year, and I stitched along on this one with my friend Christine, and I finished mine June 16th, and this is Redwork Sampler. But I chose a rusty color red, and I think it was, I can't remember the color of the red I chose. But I changed the word. My friend Christine, as we were shopping for supplies, she said it was more of a rust work. So I decided to change the name to Rust Work from Redwork. And another stitch friend actually charted the name Rust Work for me, which I'm very thankful for. So it is not perfectly symmetrical there at the bottom, but it's close enough for me. And so this is a beautiful Redwork finish for me from last year. Okay, what else did I work on? Then I picked up Alphabet Zoo. I had started this one, I want to say, in 2000. Yes, 2000. And this is Alphabet Zoo by Blue Ribbon Designs. And it calls for cranberry, a silk cranberry color. And I decided I was going to do it for a child's room. And I picked up a green, and it is DMC 3362 is the green I used. And this is where I'm at. So I am 4 and a partial 5th letter into the 26. Is there a total of 26 on here? Let me see. 4 times 5, there's 20. So there's multiple letters in some. So not quite 26. But here's this one. And I'm sorry if they're wrinkled. I didn't iron them before I brought them down. I iron them as I show them on the weekends normally and keep them crisp, but that one I did not. Here's another one that I had finished and started in 2018. This is a Blackbird design. This is a Simple Wish. It was a class piece. And this is where I got last year. So I got a little bit of, is that the front? Yep. I got a little bit of work, but still have a long way to go. So let me show it to you one more time. It won't be difficult. Majority of the stitching is the house and that vase of flowers. So there's that one. I need to fold this one differently too. Friends, A Simple Wish. After that, I picked up Womack, which is my current WIP. She's getting close. I should definitely finish her this month. I'm very excited. She's working up a little bit quicker than I thought she would. So I've been stitching on her steady for about 2 weeks, or maybe a little over 2 weeks. But here she is. That is the original sampler. So last weekend when I saw you, I was up here. Well, let me actually show you on the piece. I'm so excited to show it because I'm so excited with my progress. So when I shared with you last weekend, I think I had completed this, or was completing this line, and my goal was to complete the over 1 alphabet and the second large line of alphabet, and I completed them both. And then I'm actually started down into the quote that's on there, and this is a completion of the first page and working down into the second, and there's a total of 4. So I'm very happy with that. So it's a good chance, because the majority of the work was this week that took the longest was the over 1 lettering here. That's what took the most time. And now the quote is also over 1. The capital letters are not. You can see there the T. The T is over 2, but the rest is over 1. So that will take me some time. So I don't want to say it'll be this week when I finish. But maybe at least I can finish the quote this week, and then maybe the next week go ahead and finish it up. That would be great, but I'm very happy with my progress on Anne. And then the next one I started was a Dent Creek design. And this is Stars and Stripes Forever. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy, so I love stitching patriotic pieces. So there's that one. I love how it turned out. I have plans at some point. Jacob's room has become a junk room, and when I say junk, it's just mainly Christmas decorations to keep us from having to carry them up and put them in the attic. But I would love to have his room as a patriotic room with, you know, the boot camp pictures of not only Jacob, but my sons-in-law, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. I have those, and I would love to have a room with all that in there. So that is my one-day plan for his room, and so these pieces will be hung in there as well. Okay, moving on. Another one I have is a Mexican sampler. I started this with Yanni Stitcher. This is it. And I've made just a small start on it. I worked on it for a couple of weeks. My plan is, my son-in-law is of Mexican descent, and I want to do this for him. So I'll be gifting it to my son-in-law and my daughter once I finish it up. And this is my start on that. So that's going to be the width. If you can see that yellow there, that's going to be the width of the sampler. So it's going to be long and narrow. Let me show it to you again. And I'm looking forward to working on that one. So not a lot of stitching, but it is on 40 count. So smaller, but I'll get that finished at some point. Like I said, I want to get that to both of them. I want to have some spare fabric in there too. That's always fun to find. Yeah, now that I'm looking at that, I know last year a lot of what I was trying to do is when I have leftover fabric, trying to take that leftover fabric off and match it up with a small Christmas ornament sized piece or a small, and finish that up last year. So I was doing that a lot. And so I know that's why I pulled that off, and excuse me for that. But I cut off the extra off of that one. So the other one was God Bless America. And this was one I had last weekend. I forgot about it, and so I didn't show it to you, but I framed this one at the same time I framed that Al Forrest embroidery, Southernland. So this is God Bless America. Love how that turned out. And so that would be another piece that goes in Jacob's room. So there's that. And then I picked up a small a Christmas ornament. This is Kringle Calendar January by Heartstrings. And so many of you reached out or either just mailed me some of the cards for these, and I thank you very much for those. I will be working on more of these this year. I love how it turned out. It, of course, has treasure braid in there. I put a charm. This is one of my old earrings that I used to wear at Christmas. I love it, but I'd lost one of them. And it was, I blame it on the face masks because I wear earrings a lot normally, and so I would pull them off, and I lost a lot of good earrings last year. So I got out of the habit of wearing them. But there's that. And then after Kringle Calendar, I worked on Holly Jolly Holiday, and this is by Heart and Hand Needlearts, and this is made for those little heartware bowls. And I think I'm just going to finish it up and do this on as a little Christmas ornament. Because my plans with that is I'd love to do a tree every year upstairs with just my completed ornaments on it. So there's that one. And then we had a Hollyberry sampler. This is by Bent Creek Design. This is another one I picked up and finished last year. It has little square buttons on it as the hollyberries. Such a sweet, cute finish. I enjoyed working on that. And I remember when I finished this one up, I was looking for something and I ran across a lot of little finished, when I say a lot, less than 10, but more than I thought I had of things that just need to be finished. I just need a finishing day with some girlfriends and just bring them over and just do some Christmas ornament finishing. After that one, I picked up Hello Fall. I had started this in May of 2018 during Mania of 18, and I finished this one up. I know there's a series of this one. I want to say it was for all four of the seasons. I don't plan on doing any other. Fall is my favorite season, and that's why I purchased this one. And I enjoyed finishing that one up. And then after that one, I did Christmas Tree Farm. I thought that was right here. Oh, there it is. And this was just one of the Prairie Schooler little fun little cards someone had sent me. I had a scratch piece of fabric, and so this only took a day to finish, and I finished that one up. So a sweet little Prairie Schooler. And then I picked up, started and finished last year, 2021's Prairie Schooler Santa. And I think I saw already on 123 Stitch that the 2022 is out, so I need to pick that one up too. So there's that. So I says, as I was sharing at the beginning, my totals for 2021 was I worked on a total of 14 new starts. That's way more than I meant to, way more than I intended. But I also worked on 11 WIPs. So of those new starts, I finished 12 of them. 2 of them I carried into this year. 1 of them I've already finished, which I shared with you last week, which was Prayer of St. Francis. The other one is Ann Womack. So if I finish her next, then all of anything I started in 2021 will be finished. The WIP, that's not true. That's not true. That's just of the ones I've marked because the Mexican sampler was a start for last year. Anyway, so I worked on 14 starts and I worked on 11 WIPs. That you can count on. Of all of those, I finished 6 WIPs, and I brought 2 over. Now I know it's 3 over from last year. So that's great. I think I did good on that. I'm happy about it. The other WIPs are WIPs from prior years. So I attained my goal of coming out of the year with more WIPs completed than new starts. This year, what am I going to do? I'm going to do the same thing. My goal is to knock down my WIP number, but I do plan to wheedle in a little bit of Christmas in between. I want to focus on getting a Christmas tree ornaments for my stitch room next year to fill a tree. And so this year I'll be working on Christmas ornaments in between these larger projects. So those are my goals. So thanks for visiting with me this weekend. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back next weekend. I'll show you Ann, I'm sure, because she's what I'm working on. I think maybe I'll pull out those Christmas ornaments that I was talking about that I've not finished up because they were packed away. I don't even know that I've shared them before. So next weekend, if you come back, we'll talk about those Christmas ornaments, and then probably my plans for finishing them up. It's going to give me, just talking about it's going to give me a focus on them, and they need to be finished. So I hope everyone has a great week, that your week is full of laughter and love and a whole lot of stitches. Take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.